Hey guys, Kristian Mischke here with my 50th video. So here's my 50th video, and I'm going to show you how to make functions in processing. So I'm going to continue the Scratch to Processing series, and yeah, let's just get into it. So hold on, let me get processing up over here. Let's just get the basic program set up already. So, oops. So void setup, like usual. Let's pick a screen size. Like I like 600 by 500 a lot. I don't know why, but it's pretty good. And then we'll set up our draw, like so. Okay, and now we've set up our program. Now, before I describe what a function is, let me just show you a few things that in Scratch. So, for example, if I want my character to jump, let's say. Let's just make the lamest jump ever. And yeah, it's like this. Okay, so when I run it, he's gonna move up, he's gonna move down. So that's the lamest jump ever. And you can do that when it's clicked. And I'm just gonna show a couple ways that you can write this. So you can put it in if, and then you can put a sensor. If you press space, then you can make him jump. Press space, he jumps. Press space, he jumps. Press space, he jumps. Okay, simple enough. Now, that's a lot of code, and maybe you want him to jump if he goes on top of like a special bouncy block, and you'd have to copy all this and put it in there, and yada yada yada. So something you can do is you can go here, and you can, events, and you can get when I receive, and you can broadcast a message. So there's broadcast and wait, which are two different things, and we're going to create a new message. We're going to call it jump. And then we're just going to stick with broadcast and wait, and we're going to do jump, and we'll put this in here. So when you press space, it'll say jump, and it'll make you jump. I press space, he jumps. Press space, he jumps. Press space, he jumps. Same thing as just putting this code in there. So you see that whenever you have a broadcast, basically it just performs the same option. Now, in Scratch, when you have broadcast, it can go to other sprites too, and maybe that's not what you want. So instead, you can create a new block, and you can call it jump. And yeah, just press OK. And here you can define jump, and you can put the same code here. And you can put jump in when you press space. Run it, press space, he jumps. Press space, he jumps, and press space, he jumps. So, all three ways to make him jump, and of course, you can edit this block, and you can go in here and add a number, and you can do the height of his jump. Press OK. And now we can just drag height into here, and then of course we're going to need negative height in here, so we'll multiply -1 by height. So now if I want him to jump 50 blocks high, press space, he goes up there. Whoa. What happened to him? So maybe 50 is too much. Yeah, that's way too much. I do 1 because he's moving 50. Yeah. Anyways, you get the idea. So you can put numbers in here, and obviously I'd want to do because it repeats 10. If I want the actual height, then I'll need to do height divided by 10. And then I'd want this divided by 10. So that would be the actual height. So now if I typed in 100, he'll jump 100 pixels. Yes, bingo. If I want him to jump 40, he'll jump 40 pixels. So yeah, you can see how you can plug in information here, and it comes out, and it's so nice. With this, you can't really do it. You'd have to create a variable, and you'd have to mark it so you wouldn't use it again. So you'd put like brackets here, and you'd do like height, and then you'd make sure that it's for this sprite only, and that just gets annoying. And then you'd have to put basically copy this, put it in here, and then put height in there. And that's a lot more work. As you can see, now you have this variable that you have to worry about, and it keeps things messy. So instead of broadcasting and waiting, you'd have to set the height first. So if I wanted to do 100, I have to set it. So that's 2 blocks instead of 1. but it still works. So yeah, so now let's try to recreate this in processing and see what we can do, and maybe we'll learn something new too. So we've got these, and in processing, a function is quite simple. Now, you've actually already created a function without knowing it. This is a function. This is a function. Now, in JavaScript, it's literally just called function, and then you just type the name of it, and then like that. But in processing, like we have here, we have void, and void basically is the return type, and I'll get to that in a minute. So if we want to create a new one, then let's say, well, first of all, let's just get some things set up. So let's just create an integer x and y for our character. Let's just make this both 0. Integer y equals 0. So these are going to be the positions of our object. And then, what should we do? Let's put them in here and actually reset those to the center of the screen. And y at the center of the screen, which you should have already done this before in a previous lesson. And since we've got those set up to the center of the screen, let's just always draw a circle there. So first we're going to fill the screen with a lovely pink color. Why not? Let's do pink. 200, to 180, 180. I don't know if that's pink or not. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then we'll make our thing red. 0, 0, boom. Let's make that out again a bit. And then here, ellipse, and we'll give it a radius of 20, well, we'll draw it at x, y, and give it a radius of 25. And let me put spaces in there. Okay, so now if we run this, we should see that we have a circle center of the screen at our x and y coordinates. And yeah, once it opens, there it is. Ta-da! Okay, now I forgot to write background here. Whoops, it's been a while. Okay, so that worked. We saw there was an ellipse or a circle there at the center of the screen, which is where we defined it. And then now we're going to do a function. Okay, so we're going to create a new function. We're going to call it void, and we're going to call it jump, just like we did in the example. And we're just going to type it like this. So basically the same as we did void setup and void draw. And then we can put our stuff inside of here. So the stuff inside of here is just like everything below the define and everything below the broadcast. Simple enough. So now, okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to do, well, yeah. This jump is going to be a bit different because I don't want to get into velocities and that kind of stuff until I get onto the game creating section of this series. So I'm just going to do something simple. So I'm going to just set y, I'm going to y plus equals 10. No, 50. So this is going to be kind of like a teleport and not really a jump. So, and then in here, I'm going to have gravity. Well, first let's just try this. Let's just try this, okay? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So here we are. That's not really pink, but whatever. So if we press space, well, nothing happens, obviously. We just have it down here, but we never call it. So what's gonna happen? How about when we press space? So if key equals space, like that, and then we'll just do jump. Simple enough. You just write it like that. Whoops. You simply write it out and put a semicolon at the end. Very simple. Whoops, need 2 equal signs. Okay, so when you press the space bar, it should move up, or I guess it should move down, and it moved down. Yes, it moved down because processing y-axis goes down, so we need to do negative in order for it to go up. And you notice that it went down continually, so we need to make sure that key is, that a key is pressed. And then this should give us the result we're looking for. So we go here, press space, moved up, and even if I held it down, so that was probably a little much. So let's do something more like 15. because if you hold it down, it will continue to go up. Yeah. Okay, so here, it moves up. Cool. Now, we're also going to implement gravity, a really lame kind of gravity. I'm not getting into velocities and stuff because we're not making a game yet, but we could just do it in the draw, and, well, I guess we can go ahead and do that. So, if the y is less than 0, or no, less than height divided by 2, then, so if it's on the top half of the screen, then we're going to make y minus equals 5. Okay, let's try that. So now it will come down after we jump. And let's see, so it's staying there. Okay, I meant plus equals. I'm sorry, I keep getting my axes mixed up. I was just programming in I've been programming in Unity, as you know, if you've been following my Mineocraft Day thing. So here we go. That's a pretty cool jump. I mean, you can kind of hold it down and it goes wee off the screen. But there you go. You get the idea. When you press space, it calls this whole function here, and you can have tons and tons of lines of code in a function, which is awesome, and even draw as a function, if you didn't know that. So we're going to take this to the next level, and we're going to put something inside of here. So instead of just jump, we're going to make it better than that. Well, more complicated. I mean, whatever. Okay, so we're going to put integer, and we're going to name it height. Does this, not height, that's been used before. Whoopsie. We're going to call it jump height, like that. So this looks like a variable, right? And it is. And it's inside of these two parentheses. Now, you might look here and say, hey, look, looks just like that. It says jump, and then it says, jump height. So, well, that's exactly what it is. Exactly. It looks so much like it. Thank you, Scratch, for making stuff look like code. So now instead, here we can go jump height. And then we're going to run it, and it's going to say, oh no, there's no integer in here. So now, as you can guess, it says jump 40, so in our processing, we're going to have to type in a number inside here. Simple enough. So if I type in 40, that's going to be way too much. If I type in 15, this is exactly what we had before. But I can type in 15, and it will go inside of here, and then it will go inside here, and it will change the y, which is pretty cool. And you can even put variables and math and stuff in here. It doesn't have to just be an integer. It can be whatever kind. And you can even have multiple. If you put comma, jump, I don't know. You could do like boolean, jump high or whatever. It doesn't, you can add as many commas as you want, like that. But yeah, you just add variables in there and then it uses them. So that's one thing you can do. Let's drag this up and show you what I mean. So it still works. It works fine. Now let's say we want a really weak jump, like maybe a 6. This is gonna be really weak because the 5 is gonna counteract it. So let's see what happens. Yeah, it's really weak jump, and gravity's so strong it's pulling us down. So that's how you change that. Let's jump higher now, 30. Okay, so that is how jump works. Now, I'm going to show you a function that you can't do in Scratch very easily. So I'm going to take all this off the screen. I need to delete this first. Okay. And go through the second example. And I'm going to try to make this kind of quick. Delete. Okay, so now you see in operators how you have, like, for example, where is it? Where is it? Where? Or in our or sensing, you have like distance to mouse pointer, right? And then you can plug this in a variable or in something, and you see how it's circular. But when you make a block, it's not circular. So what do you do? So say I want to get something. So like I get a plus b. Now, obviously, we already have an operator for that, so we don't, I mean, that's kind of stupid. So instead, let's do, what's an operator we don't have? Yeah, so for example, we could get, I'm just going to do something simple. So we could get, we can square, and then we can put in two numbers, or one number. And then we could say x, and then okay. So now we have square x, and we want to set, we need to, excuse me, we need to create one flag clicked, and then, for example, we want to set the x position to square x. Okay, great. Now we need to put this inside of there, but we can't. So what do we do? Well, we have to make we have to do a little go around and do this kind of thing. So we do this, we'll call it square result, and sometimes you have to do this in Scratch, unfortunately. So you'll set square result to x times x, because that's how you square something. You just do that. I mean, this looks really simple, and then you have to take the result and put it in here. So it gets really quick. It goes up fast. So if you put it, anyways, you can see kind of how that works. In processing, if we want to do something like that instead of this, let's remove this. And let's remove this. Okay, so now, instead of writing void, void means it gives us nothing back. So void just does something. So instead, we want an integer value. So we can type in int, and this looks like a variable. So what are we doing? What are we doing? We're typing in a function. So we're going to do int, and we're going to do squared. Okay, and then we're just going to type it like this, and we need to get our x value. So we're also going to put int x. And then what we do is we do return x times x, for example. So now it'll multiply x by x, which squares it, and it returns it. So it has to be type int. So if I were to return true, and I ran this, it's going to be an error. It says cannot convert from boolean to int because it's returning true, but it needs to get an int. So that's why we need x times x. And then in here, for the sake of example, I will do if I'll only do this when we press. What am I doing? When we press the space key and key is pressed. Man, I'm so used to autocorrect. Or yeah. So then in here, whoops, what was that? So in here, I'll just do x. Not to confuse things, I'll just do y. So this is our character y position. So I'll just do y equals squared of y. Simple enough. Okay. Run that. So now when I press space, it's going to move up twice the distance I pressed it last time, and it just shut off the screen because 0 times 0 is 0. So let's oh no, never mind. Yeah, so it just shuts off the screen because it's a lot of pixels. But you get the idea. So instead of doing this, I'll do this and also print it. Squared of y. Oops, need another one there. Okay, so now when I press space, it'll show it in the console below. And go in here, press space. So that's a lot of numbers. So it kind of got stuck at 0, but it works though. Yeah, but you can create functions that have values like this instead of just void, even though I'd say I probably use void more often, so for jump. Well, I know this was a kind of long video, but it was, I hope it was good, and I hope you learned something, and if you like this series and actually get to this part of the video, then please comment below, because I want to know if you want me to continue this series, or if I should just stop, or if I should continue it, like, sparsely. But, yeah, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.